I'm live.
The enigmatic entrepreneur whose words will make you sure. Know, trust, and believe. The master teacher has come to help you succeed. The gem dropper, the truth speaker, the voice in the universe that will bring you to your highest peak. Welcome to the Get High on Motivation show with Mimi the Motivator, your favorite motivator's favorite motivator.
It's no mess up on. I'm taking my phone.
Welcome to life eternal. The time is here, the time is now. So pick up and put on the crown. Back to yesterday.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, love bugs. It is your favorite motivator's favorite motivator, Mimi the Motivator, and this is the Get High on Motivation show. Welcome, darling. Welcome. I'm so glad you have made your arrival. So let's have our tea. Let's spill some tea. Let's talk. So today we have our regular schmegula. We have some food for thought coming from Mr. J. Paul Getty. We also have a letter that is quite interesting and challenging. I haven't even began to think about the answer about who is the thinker behind the thoughts. So make sure you stay to the end of the show to get some of that. And then we're going to talk about something that almost sounds like it might be like yucky, or what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, like humdrum. I know something sad, but it's really not, I promise. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Today's food for thought comes from a book that I read earlier this year called How to Be Rich by Mr. J. Paul Getty. It's like a series of articles that he originally wrote for Playboy, and then they became a book. So it's written for men, but I read all the men books because they be having the secrets in there, ladies, in case y'all didn't know. Okay? All right, so here we go. One needs only to remember that a groove may be safe, but that as one wears away at it, that groove becomes first a rut and finally a grave. So that groove becomes a rut, which becomes a grave. So sometimes you in a groove, you in your groove, and you got your way of doing things, and you got your way of being possibly. It's your groove. It's how you are. It's your thing. It's what you do. But sometimes being in a groove can create a rut where it's something that you find yourself more stuck in. Whether it is even a routine that doesn't even serve you, but it's what you've been doing. And so it's your groove. It's what you do. And now you're stuck in a rut of having to do that. And now it is the thing that is killing you. What is that for you, love bug? Is it something in your personal life? Is it something in your professional life? Is it something in your romantic life? But where are you in a groove that possibly can becoming a rut that you're getting stuck in? We have to be careful of not getting stuck in ruts, especially emotional ruts. Sometimes we get in a space where we just don't feel like doing nothing but what we want to do or what we feel like doing. And even if we feel like doing nothing but laying in the bed and watching Netflix all day, that's what we do. The culture which says grooves create a rut that creates a grave. Yes, that's right. That's right. You got to think about that. It's what is happening to so many people. We're so caught up in how we've been doing things. We're so caught up in looking at the present moment and even looking at the future through the filter of the past. Well, this is how things have been. This is how I always do it. I always fold my towels like this. Well, you got a new shelf that is set up a little different. You might need to fold them differently. I know that sounds like a real random something, but it is a real something. Sometimes it's just us accepting that we have to create our new groove in life because what used to exist doesn't really exist, and you trying to keep up your old mode of operation is not serving you. It is putting you in a stuck place, and you feel that stuckness, and you feel Sometimes do you ever feel like something is like caving in on you, almost like walls are closing in on you in a certain situation? It could possibly be because you've been in a groove of doing things a certain way, in a groove of thinking a certain way. I think about the neural pathways in our mind. They're like grooves. And we also have the opportunity to create some new grooves in our mind instead of thinking the same thoughts over and over and over, day in and day out, that are not serving us and that are not making us really move into action or move into doing what we really desire to be doing or to be having or to be. Like I said, it's a be, do, have model. We have to change who we are, love bugs. Because when we change who we are, then we'll change what we're doing. And then what we have will change. So consider, what groove are you in? What groove do you want to be in? Let's consider that. And let's think more about what we desire and less about what we don't desire. Let's think less about what we're stuck in and let's think more about what we want to be in. So if you're stuck in an old raggedy poop poop car, it's okay, boo. Stop focusing on the raggedy poop poop car. Let's start focusing on that nice new vehicle that is coming into your life experience. Let's think about how it's going to ride, how it's going to feel. What is the seat going to feel like up under your butt? How is the steering wheel going to feel in your hand? What is it going to sound like when you push the gas? What is it going to feel like when you push the gas? Is it going to be a smart car that pulls off kind of slow? Or is it going to be something with a V8 engine that goes wrong as soon as you push it 0 to 60? Whatever you desire is okay. And don't compare your desires to other people's desires. Don't compare what you're doing to what other people are doing. Everybody has their own way of doing. Everybody has their own groove. So don't even get stuck in somebody else's groove because it's not for you. Find your own groove that works for you, but don't get stuck in it. Continuously change, continuously evolve, continuously level up and mature. Continuously challenge yourself to be a better version of who you were, because that is the real competition. The competition aren't the other people who are doing what you're doing, or the other people who are trying to do what you're doing, or the people who've been doing what you're trying to do. The real competition is the man or the woman or the whatever you identify yourself as in the mirror. That is who we need to top. That is who we need to one up. That's who we need to outpace. Outpace yourself. Outpace your old self, your yesterday self. I ain't even talking about last year or 10 years ago, because you probably think, oh, well, I'm doing better than what I used to be doing. So do better than what you were doing yesterday. If you're listening to my show, to the Get High on Motivation show, that means you're committed to being 1% better in one area of your life every single day, because we're committed to being our best selves. Those of us listening to this show are committed to living our best lives. I got to get my tea. It's tea time. So if you want to catch the rest of this show, then you got to go where everybody knows to go, which is at MimiTheMotivator.com, or on any streaming app and look up Get High on Motivation. Look up Mimi the Motivator. I am out there. You will find me, and I'm waiting on you. I love y'all. Thank you. I love you, Culture Witch. Thank you. All right, so we are now going to move into the next portion of our show. I am done with the IG people. They have to be on YouTube if they want to get that real. What's going on, RG? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm looking forward to you posting some videos on your YouTube channel. I'm going to make sure I follow you so that way I know when you done posted something. You got too much out here. You got too much information. You know how to do everything. What don't you know how to do? So anybody else watching, if it's something you know how to do and you know how to do it good, make a video and share with somebody. The video don't even have to be good. I promise you. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. All right, let me hit the record button on my audio so we can get back to it. Gotta check my notes so I can stay on course today. All right, love bugs. So I told you we're going to be talking about something a little morbid. Morbid was the word that I was looking for that I couldn't find earlier. That was it. That was the one. So I got to ask you a few questions, though, before we get started. So do you have something that you've been really wanting to do and you just haven't done it, or don't feel comfortable doing it, like you don't feel like you're ready yet, possibly? Is there something that you need to say to somebody that you know for sure you've been avoiding saying it? What is it? Now, I want you to think about the people that you love most in the world. I want you to think about the people who are most important to you. Now, I want you to consider if, I don't know, aliens came to Earth and abducted them and swept them away. Would you be okay with your current relationship with them? Yes or no? I'm going to believe that there may be some no's in some of those relationships. Some of them you're like, yes, I know I've been doing my thing and I'm comfortable and we good. But you may have some other relationships, whether they're family relationships, child, parent, boo thing relationships. There may be some relationships with friends or with old business partners. Think about it. Would you be okay with things being as they were? This week, my mother would have been celebrating her 60th birthday. However, she did not live to make it to see her, let's say, 48th birthday. But I'm going to tell you the story because it's not too sad, I don't think. One thing I definitely know is that if she was here living in the flesh, there would definitely be a party. Okay? I can't even imagine what kind of party it would be because this lady knew how to party for sure. Matter of fact, when my mother passed away, she was on her way home from a party. She was on her way from karaoke. She was at one of her favorite bars where, you know, she come through like a socialite. Whatever she drank, everybody's like, I'm drinking what Mimi's drinking. Yes, my mama is Mimi as well. That's the OG Mimi. But she was on her way home from karaoke and had an accident. And I'm using air quotes for those of you who cannot see me because it's one of those unsolved mysteries that I was like, close the case, honey boo. Anyway, you can't bring my mama back with all the research in the world of what really happened because my mother ended up in a car accident apparently by herself where she ended up with her car on top of her and her being buried in snow. So she ended up dying from hypothermia. But the best thing was taking my brother up there and taking my grandmother up there to Bemidji, Minnesota. That's where she was when she passed away, in this little small town with no black people. And she was like the most popular chocolate chip in the town. It was a town that was made up of mostly white people and Native Americans. So at her service, they said that this was one of the largest turnouts they have ever seen. It was peaceful with both white people and natives present. The native folks brought drums. They had a big drum circle set up. I remember, oh my gosh, they had these 5 drums and 5 chairs, but there were only 4 drummers there. And I remember like, where's this 5th person? We're about to get started. I was all about the business. Y'all know me. I'm very business oriented, and I was very business oriented that day because I wanted to make sure that my mama went out right. But my mother had made such an impact on this town. Sidetrack. The extra chair was for her. She had made such an impact on this town. She had only been there for about 2.5 years. But at her service, the mayor was there. All these people, all these dignitaries were there. All the students that she had helped get into nursing school and these other programs showed up. She had this little group of Smurfs. That's what she used to call them because they would wear these blue scrubs. So they all showed up together and walked in together with their blue scrubs on to represent for my mom. And they all patiently stood in line so they could share their story about my mom. It was so much laughter that you may have been mistaken this for a roasting almost versus a homegoing because my mom was a little crazy and out there. Very often when I tell stories of my mom, there's usually partying involved because she was definitely a party mom. You would hear stories that kind of sounded like, a little abusive, a little neglectful. You'd be like, what in the world? But what I feel like trumped that was my mother's contribution to society, not just in Minnesota, but also in Nashville. My mother started a literacy program at the prison. My mom was the neighborhood mom. She whooped all the kids, but she also shot all the kids with water guns, and you all came to her house to eat, to play, to whatever. I was just telling a story the other day of how my mom had this little bitty small Hyundai, and that there were 11 of us in this car because if she was going to give one of us a ride, she was giving everybody a ride that was walking with us. And we all piled in that little bitty Hyundai. It was 10 of us all piled in. And she gave us a ride into the neighborhood of Shepherdwood. She was that kind of mom. She was the mom that played softball. She was the mom that wore the short skirts. As a matter of fact, let me tell you what your girl was wearing when she did pass away. My girl had on a skirt that was probably about maybe 3 or 4 inches of denim, and then the rest was some see-through animal print stuff going on. She had on black suede knee boots with a little pattern on the side. You couldn't tell this lady nothing, okay? She was not playing. I'm sharing this story with you because I want to invite you all to live and to live more